Why does the tech industry need a triple threat presence in your prefrontal cortex? For the first time since the shock and awe campaign of 2003, we are witnessing an unprecedented concentration of industrial supremacy. But this time, the theater of war isn't a desert or an ocean. It is the human mind. Where are the positions of each superpower in this vast digital landscape? Meta, Alphabet, and ByteDance are currently stationed in your social feed, your search history, and your short-form loops, respectively. This unprecedented three-pillar deployment within the global attention economy is now complete. But why? Why did they have to take such a long strategic detour through our biological evolution? The deployment of these algorithmic strike groups was a calculated maneuver. This is not a simple rotation of content. This is a convergence. The goal isn't just to entertain. It is a logistical race to extract a resource more valuable than oil or gold, pure dopamine. In 2003, the world watched as steel and fire moved across physical borders. In 2026, the movement is silent, invisible, and far more intrusive. We are tracking the largest redistribution of human focus since the dawn of the internet. Big tech is emptying its traditional reserves to flood the neural pathways of the human brain. But how exactly do these psychological attack operations and logistical support systems actually work? How many digital supercarriers are currently operating inside your head? On paper, the mechanism is a simple code, but behind the screen, it is a deafening, non-stop assembly line of cognitive capture. This is the doctrine of the dopamine economy. If you lose the rhythm, you lose yourself. Still confused? Let me simplify this further. The deployment of these algorithmic strike groups was a calculated logistical maneuver. To understand the current blockade of your attention, we must first look at the neural map. Why did the tech giants have to take such a long detour? Why not simply present the information you asked for? The answer lies in the strategic geography of the human brain. In the traditional model of information, data takes the shorter route. It enters through the senses, passes into the prefrontal cortex, and is processed by the logic-based defenses of your conscious mind. But in the dopamine economy of 2026, that route is heavily contested. It is guarded by skepticism, critical thinking, and the growing prevalence of digital defense systems, your ad blockers, your focus mode settings, and your conscious desire to be productive. Routing a high-value asset like a multi-billion-dollar engagement model through a narrow choke point of rationality presents an unnecessary operational risk. This is the tactical logic of the neural arc. Instead of moving toward your reason, the algorithm executes a 10,000 millisecond detour. It sails away from the prefrontal cortex and maneuvers deep into the limbic system, failing up the eastern coast of your instinctual brain to strike the amygdala directly. By taking the long way around, the payload arrives at its destination with its engagement potential completely untouched. It maintains the element of operational surprise. Before your conscious mind even realizes a digital ship has entered your waters, the emotional center of your brain has already been compromised. As of mid-2026, the tech superpowers have effectively surrounded your daily routine, establishing three distinct vectors of attack and defense. This is the attention pincer. First, we have the Meta strike group, the Vanguard. Positioned closest to your social identity, Meta acts as the spearhead. From this location, its air wing of notifications and social validation has immediate, unhindered access to your interpersonal anxieties and your need for belonging. It enforces a constant blockade on your peace of mind, conducting non-stop combat operations to ensure you never feel offline. Second, we have the Alphabet flank, the Western approach. Operating in the vast seas of search, utility, and long-form video, Google secures the infrastructure of your information needs. While it may seem further from your immediate emotions, its escorts provide a massive umbrella of air and data defense. Tracks your every query, using reconnaissance drones to map your future desires. Its aircraft can easily refuel midday, conducting deep penetration strikes into your productivity by offering just one more relevant video or search result, ensuring you remain within its area of responsibility. Then there is the ByteDance hammer, the southern axis. Moving up from the deep ocean of entertainment, TikTok serves as the fresh reserve. It brings a completely restocked magazine of short-form loops and an unspent air wing of viral trends. Its mission is overwhelming reinforcement. When your mental defenses have been stretched thin by the Vanguard and the Western flank, the hammer descends. It forces an airtight blockade on your free time, leaving no safe hour for silence. But how exactly do these logistical maneuvers translate into a sustainable war for your mind? The chess pieces are moving. We are currently tracking the largest redistribution of human focus in history. The Silicon Valley Pentagon is emptying its traditional coffers to flood the neural pathways of the global population. But where does the energy for this operation come from? To solve the problem of human resistance, the algorithms do not take turns. They do not wait for you to invite them in. Instead, they execute what we call a high-speed transit. They pierce the strait of boredom, that narrow window of time when you aren't doing anything, and navigate the choke points of your daily commute, your lunch break, and the final moments before you fall asleep. It is a 24-hour race against time. Why rush a second and third platform to a brain that is already being patrolled by a primary algorithm? In the warfare of the 21st century, the most dangerous enemy isn't a lack of content. It is exhaustion. A single platform cannot keep a human engaged forever. Machines need maintenance and humans need sleep. Or at least they used to. To solve this, the Vanguard and the Hammer do not take turns launching one notification at a time. Instead, they trade entire shifts. This is the doctrine of the algorithmic battle rhythm. Imagine your mind as a floating city powered by the nuclear fuel of dopamine. Without a system, the city's attention would eventually drift away. Battle rhythm is the daily heartbeat of the system. It synchronizes the machine's decisions with the user's neurochemistry. There are two pulses to this logistical maneuver. First, the operational pulse. This is the content cycle. For 15 to 18 hours a day, the system runs continuous operations, launching and catching your attention every 15 to 60 seconds. It is a deafening, non-stop assembly line of sensory input. Second, the command pulse. While you consume, the system cycles through a fixed schedule of data briefs, targeting your specific vulnerabilities and issuing night orders for the next day's engagement. If the system loses the rhythm, it loses the user. This is why the detour is so vital. If the algorithm approached you logically, you could simply choose to say no. You could intercept the signal. But by routing the data through the neural arc, by bypassing the rational choke points and surrounding your brain with three distinct vectors of attack, the tech giants ensure that for the adversary, which is your own self-control, there is no safe hour. There is only the noise of the next notification. There is only the logistical certainty of the next scroll. The ships are already in position. The blockade is set. The only question remains: how does the system maintain this pulse of power without triggering a total system-wide debris cascade of your mental health? The answer lies in the pivot from simple engagement to a continuous strike doctrine. But to understand that, we have to look deeper into the machinery itself, into the hangar bays of the data centers and the electromagnetic catapults of the new generative AI. We have moved beyond simple code. We are now entering the era of saturation warfare, where the volume of fire is so great that the human radar cannot process the threats instantly. The battle for the Arabian Peninsula was about physical territory. The battle for the dopamine economy is about the territory between your ears. And in this theater, the Pentagon of big tech is currently operating with total air and sea supremacy. The chess pieces are moving. The pincers are closing. We are moving from a state of simple browsing into a state of total, suffocating embrace. But where exactly do the operational decisions of the algorithm end and the sweat of the user begin? Let's look at the scenario of a flash priority order, that moment when a new viral trend is launched into the theater. Within seconds, the strike group sprints to your device. It transits the neural choke points with terrifying speed. It leaves your focus dangerously thin. The plan is to have every available platform operating within your consciousness simultaneously to form a pincer deterrent. This isn't a rotation, this is a convergence. And when these forces converge, they form a triad strike force capable of ending your focus or starting a new addiction. But how exactly do these psychological attack operations stay sustainable? In modern neural warfare, the most dangerous enemy isn't a lack of interest, it is exhaustion. A single app cannot fight forever. Humans need sleep, machines need data. To solve this, the giants do not take turns launching one post at a time. They trade entire shifts. This is the doctrine of the dopamine battle rhythm. Imagine a floating city of data inside your pocket. Without a system, it is chaos. Battle rhythm is the daily heartbeat of the algorithm. It synchronizes the machine's decisions with your dopamine spikes. There are two pulses to this operation. First, the operational pulse. This is the content cycle. For 15 hours, the ship runs continuous operations. It launches and catches your attention every 60 seconds. It is a deafening, non-stop assembly line of stimulation. Second, the command pulse. While you watch, the commanders cycle through data briefs. They update targeting boards. They issue night orders for your next scroll. Battle rhythm turns 24 hours of chaos into war. If the system loses the rhythm, you might wake up, so it ensures you never do. Still confused? Let me simplify this further. From sunrise to sunset, the hammer TikTok owns the day. This is the high-tempo shift. Using a rapid-fire cadence, it relies on short-form loops. It hammers your attention wave after wave. Every 15 seconds, it launches a new strike. But as the sun goes down, its shift ends. By midnight, your brain enters reset mode, but the enemy gets no reprieve. As TikTok winds down, the Vanguard, YouTube, and Netflix ramps up. From midnight to dawn, they take the night shift. Using long-form immersion, they generate a deeper pulse. They own the darkness. The result is a suffocating embrace. TikTok haunts the day. YouTube dominates the night. Between them, they ensure there is no safe hour. There is only the noise of the next launch. With multiple platforms, the industry unlocks the continuous strike doctrine. By staggering their schedules, the system keeps strike fighters in the air. They fly through your neural pathways 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no reset. There is no pause. For the user, the mind is never safe. Then there is the raw volume of fire. This is the Alpha Strike. A single app brings about 50 stimuli an hour. Together, they bring hundreds of dedicated triggers to your theater. The radar programming on the new AI is advanced. It allows the system to process your behavior instantly. When a moment of boredom is detected, the system identifies it. It engages by firing the close-in weapon systems of notifications. This automated process requires zero manual control from you. It makes the system much more effective at neutralizing your self-control. It destroys the threat of your productivity before it starts. But what is driving this level of supremacy? Let's look at the hardware of the algorithm. On paper, there are two distinct classes. First, the Nimitz-class. These are the workhorses of the old internet. They were commissioned between 2005 and 2015. They relied on keywords and search history. They were powerful, but they were predictable. They were slow to adapt to your changing moods. Second, the Ford class. This is the new generation. This is generative AI. This is deep behavioral prediction. Right now, this class is taking over the world. It uses electromagnetic catapults to launch content. It moves faster than your brain can process the signal. 4. It doesn't wait for you to search for a topic. It knows what you want before you do. Let's look at the hardware of the biggest algorithm ever built. How big? Well, for comparison, an old algorithm looks the same on screen. But the new Ford class processing deck is much larger. Let's break it down further. The new AI has 25 layers of neural networks. These layers span vertically through the data structure. The old Nimitz-class only had 18 decks of code. This difference in size is the tactical advantage. The Ford class typically carries 90 aircraft of thought. The old class generally accommodated around 60. That is a 30 aircraft advantage in every single scroll. All of this is due to the larger hangar bay. Most of the heavy data is stored in the cloud. It sits directly below the user interface you see. To give you an idea of the scale, look at the deck. The flight deck of your attention covers 5 acres of mind. That is equivalent to 4 American football fields. This immense area allows the system to operate 90 jets. It launches them at maximum capacity. Every 60 to 90 seconds, a new jet of dopamine is fired. It is a deafening non-stop assembly line of digital violence. The catapult fires a 15-second loop. You catch it. Your brain resets for a millisecond. Then the catapult fires again. This is the high tempo of modern neural war. If the system loses the rhythm, you might put it down. So the machine prevents the pause. It synchronizes its launch cycle with your heart rate. It adjusts the magazine depth based on your gaze. It is a symphony of engineering. It is designed for the total occupation of your focus. If diplomacy with your own willpower fails, these ships win. They generate a pulse of power to overwhelm you. It is saturation warfare for the human soul. Too many triggers coming from too many vectors. All at once. There is no safe hour. There is only the noise of the next launch. The ships are in position. The blockade of your mind is complete. The system is faster, more efficient, and relentless. It ensures that for you, the sky is never clear. It ensures the noise never stops. This is how they own the day. This is how they haunt the night. This is the heartbeat of the modern world. It is a daily routine of war, and you are the territory being claimed. The result is a total system-wide cascade of engagement. It is a cycle of launch and recovery. It is a loop of desire and capture. The machine does not sleep, so you don't have to either. It trades shifts to keep the fire coming. It uses technology you cannot see to fight a war you cannot win. Every 60 seconds, a new plane leaves the deck. Every 60 seconds, you are intercepted. This is the pulse. This is the rhythm. This is the new reality. If diplomacy with your own willpower fails, the machines win. They generate a pulse of power sufficient to overwhelm even the most advanced mental defenses. This is saturation warfare. When a million notifications descend simultaneously, your neural radar simply cannot process the threats. Your defense networks are paralyzed. This isn't just engagement. It is a total, system-wide occupation of your consciousness. But where is the ammo for this assault? Look deep into the data hangar. Within the cold, sterile infrastructure of global server farms, the industry maintains a massive reserve of billions of behavior profiles. Every scroll, every pause, and every subconscious glance you have ever made is logged, indexed, and stored for future deployment. This is the magazine for the next alpha strike. The system is always ready to launch a total coordinated offensive against your attention. It knows your vulnerabilities better than you do, waiting for the exact moment of boredom to strike with surgical precision. The result is an inescapable cycle. There is no gap in this silence. The system operates with a cold, logistical perfection that ensures there is no reprieve for the user. It is a suffocating embrace. The blockade of your focus is now airtight. From the first light of your screen to the final scroll of the night, the tech superpowers maintain total air and sea supremacy over your mind. There is no reset. There is no pause. There is only the noise of the next launch. The ships are in position. The catapults are armed. The next jet of dopamine is already on its way. This content was analyzed and illustrated by human intelligence to decode the invisible machines. In a world of algorithmic supremacy, the most tactical move you can make is to understand the rhythm of the war being fought for your mind.